division opener with Tampa Bay. I got Cowboys Nation. I got the whole. I got Nick. I got everybody. But I'm missing somebody. I need a little more hype because we gotta get this going. Where's my man Kelly? Kelly, we're gonna stop this domination. Let's get it, baby. What are we gonna do? We taking down Tom Brady. He may be the GOAT, but today we gonna retire that motherfucker. Cowboys Nation, we're gonna handle that business. The season starts tonight. Are you with me? Can you dig it? Let's go, baby.
What is up, Cowboys Nation? I had to play that, Jimmy. You could feel some of the pain, but
yes,
it just goes to show how exciting the start of the season and everything is looking good, and then how it can change within a couple hours. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. We're getting this thing started. We got a lot to get into, and I also told you, right, we want them to voice their frustration, whether it be the Cowboys or Jimmy. I hear my Falcons, your Falcons. I can't take credit for that.
Hey,
16-point lead in the fourth quarter.
So I got to tell you something. Friday night, back in the days, for people who don't know, we used to hang out and party together, and I was well known for drinking a lot and sometimes maybe regurgitating every so often. So I haven't thrown up in years from booze, from food, from anything. This past Friday, we went to a fundraiser for a really good cause, and it was the first time I threw up in about 4 years, and it was rough. And you know what? I almost threw up yesterday in the fourth quarter watching my team implode at home opener, 16-point lead. You're going to play prevent defense, and as always, that prevent defense prevents you from winning. They went soft on Winston, and what happens? He goes from having 40 total yards passing, ended up with 250 in a quarter.
Well, I feel your pain, but understand my pain's a little deeper, because not only did we lose, but we'll get into it, we also lost our quarterback. We probably lost, the hope, everything we had going into the season, everything we thought was going to be going well. We did, there was some concern. I mean, we're not going to sugarcoat it. There was some concern with the receiving core. We had an unproven group aside from CD and Schultz, and it just all proved to be the factual, and the Joneses are taking a lot of heat for it, as they should. As you see, I'm not wearing a Cowboys shirt. I got to wear a Cowboys hat because I got to match. But I said, hey, I'm going to wear my own shirt. I'm not going to support the team today. I'm on protest until Sunday, because you already booked your flights. You already booked the hotel. I got, I'm double dipping going down to A&M on Saturday. And so I'm going to have to sit through that misery one more time. But I showed the tailgate. I showed the pre-hype, because that's, at the end of the day, I'm a Cowboys fan through and through, just like, you're a Falcons fan, and it's been a long time for us. It's been a long, you guys never won a championship. At least you guys been to the show a couple times. So it's just, that's the part that kills me. But the part that makes me happy, and the part I really enjoy, is hanging out with Cowboys Nation. And that's why I want to show that video, because I mean, it's just the family atmosphere that you have. It's the greatest fan base. And that's why in one of my tweets I put, they deserve better. I mean, we deserve better. Yeah. They're always supporting the team. We always get the hate. My phone always blows up. People always got to make comments, knowing I don't waste my time. I don't comment on none of their crap when their team stink or their team does this, because I don't care about their team. But they all care about us, and they all care about the Cowboys. So then they always got to add a little bit. So I ignore it. It is what it is. But, getting to hang out with Tuck and Nix and Spoonie and Camber and Kelly, K9, it was awesome to finally meet him, and Shady. And obviously my man Jones, who made that nice piece. I'm not in my Cowboys cave. You see, I'm in the alternate cave. I got home a little later, so I had to makeshift something because I didn't have time to put it together. But, Kevin Martinez, he got us a cool little coin for opening day that was at one of the tailgates. That's something that's going to be in the cave. And at Alex and Cowboy, I didn't know her name, but she came by. That's a hard thing. You got all these Twitter handles. You forget to introduce yourself and get your real name. So she was awesome. I did a little video for her. She just wanted the entrance. So that's the kind of thing that I love. That's the kind of thing that keeps me going with the Cowboys. I'm in too deep. You're in too deep. We don't have a choice. I know everyone wants to, Jones ain't getting rid of the team. It's what I tell people. We got to win in spite of them. These players bust their ass. These players are doing what they got to do. So I'm supporting the players. Jones, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, like I said, cool owners. Everything's first class when you go to the facility and things like that. But what they've done to this team in all these years, it's just inexcusable. It's embarrassing. I did that the tour at the Star, and I was telling my buddy Jeff, who I went to the game with, you walk out angry because you look at this first class facility and all the private chefs, and they got all this stuff and marble floor and $1.6 billion to make it. You have all this stuff and you can't deliver a championship, but no other team has that kind of facility, to the extent that Dallas does it. And you can't put together a winning team, a championship team. And it's not the players, it's the culture that he created.
Well, you know what? Like you said, it's the camaraderie. It's getting together. It's having fun, and that's the best part of it. And honestly, like I said last week, I'm not emotionally attached, but I do know a lot of Cowboys fans just from being on the show and being on Twitter. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really hoping though that Dak is back playing that weekend.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
It's going to be close because I ran the numbers, and like I said, if you guys are angry, you want to let it out. Now, you guys call in the show. Speak your mind. Let me know how you feel. If there's things you say that, hey, I'm a homer or I drink too much of the Kool-Aid, you can let me have it too. But looking at the schedule, so they got the Bengals, then you got at the Giants, Washington, Rams, at Philly, Lions, Bears, and then the bye. That's 8 weeks. They say it's 6 to 8 weeks. My only thought is with that Bears game is maybe they'll say, let's just keep them out another week, depending on how the schedule falls out. They're either way out of it, why bother? Or, hey, maybe we're 4-3, 3-4, whatever it is. And maybe they try and say, hey, we can get the Bears without it. So that's why I was saying, I don't know. It'll be up in the air. But, looking at the schedule, it pains me that they're at Philly. I don't think there's a snowball's chance they're going to win that one at the Rams. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to go see them lose at home against the Bengals. But then, like I said, you got the Giants, Washington, Lions, and Bears. No game is a gimme. I mean, you saw that this weekend in football, but those are, potentially winnable games. The defense did its part. The defense played well. I think they'll get better. So, all you can do is hold out a little bit of hope that they can keep it together. But from what I saw in the receiving core, that makes it hard to believe that anything's going to change because it was a pathetic performance on offense, and it goes down to I've always said Kellen Moore.
Well, you know what? I'll say one thing. When you guys were trying, in the fourth quarter, there was a couple of back and forth turnovers. What was up with Steele taking multiple penalties at that point in the game? I almost fell out of my chair because that's one of the biggest issues you had last year.
No, and it strikes again. And the one that was getting a lot of heat and a lot of criticisms was Tyler Smith, and I thought he played well. I mean, first game, left tackle, rookie, didn't. He played in college, but all training camp they had him at guard. He went in there. I thought he played solid, and then Steele's supposed to be, kind of a veteran. You'd expect more from that. You're at home. I don't know how you get false starts at home.
Right.
There wasn't a big Buccaneer crowd there. I mean, it wasn't like when I went and saw him play against the Broncos and even, the 49ers in the playoffs. They had a pretty good, when you go to Dallas, you always get a pretty good amount of the other team's fans because they like to go there. But the Buccaneers, it wasn't much of that. So it wasn't like, it was nice and quiet for them to be able to do it, and they still get these false starts. So the penalties continue to be a problem, and it's just things that you can't overcome. But what pisses me off more than anything is Kellen Moore. My wife was texting me the plays and why they running this and why. I mean, and she's not an expert in football. And then you had the Buccaneer David. He came out in the papers. I always say the papers, that's old school. He came out in the media and said they knew the plays that they were running. They knew their whole scheme, and they knew everything that they were going to do. So it just doesn't make any sense that, no creativity. My dogs are barking. They're upset about this game too. No creativity about the game. We all knew what was happening. Trick plays, double reverse. You're deep in your part of the field. You're running the ball successfully. I don't want to hear no hate about Zeke. The running game, he was running the ball 5 yards a clip, consistently 5 yards a clip, and you stop running, and you go down the first drive. running the ball, and then you just don't run no more. It makes no sense to me. It just it gets me aggravated. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, and you know what it is too, and we had the same issue, and I know right now you want to stick to the Cowboys, but we had the same issue. You know, we were just had Winston on his heels the whole game, and then we changed to a prevent in the fourth. We were running plays on offense, and we looked really good on offense, and then decided to start doing a hurry up offense for no apparent reason at all. So you know, when stuff like that happens, it's frustrating. You know, why are you going to break something that's not broken? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I feel for you.
I was at the 1 o'clock, so I didn't see your game, but I was watching the scores because I think we had at the tailgate they had the Eagle Lions game on, so I was watching it and I'm like, shit, man, the Falcons, man, here we go. Jimmy's gonna be pumped up. You're gonna be pumped up. You know, I'm gonna get something on that. I'm gonna get something on the wall. Here we go. We're gonna get something on there now it's starting. We're gonna get some love there. So it was you know, I felt for you because I don't like the Saints. I'm not a Saints fan. I was rooting for you guys. The only heartbreak was the last show. I don't know if I had said it, but I was trying to do my draft during one of the shows, and I couldn't do both, so I just said screw, and I auto drafted, and so my quarterbacks are Trevor Lawrence and Jameis Winston. So I pretty much gave up on my fantasy team.
Well, you know, it's funny you're talking about future games and you're talking about Philly. Look at man, they struggled to win yesterday, right? They won by 3 in Detroit, and frankly, you look at Jalen Hurts' numbers; they were no different than Mariota's yesterday. The numbers were the same. They're both their rushing and passing. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Philly. You're worried about them. Maybe we don't need to be.
Yeah, the defense wasn't impressive. I think we got a caller though. So who we got? We got a gentleman from
We got a
Fort Worth.
caller.
I think his name's
Oh,
John.
boy.
So let's see what's up. Hey, what's going on, man? You there? You switch it over. You there? Sorry about that.
Hey, you're on the air.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. What's up, man?
Oh, hey, what's up? This is John. I just can't. I'm sick to my stomach. I can't believe I waited all year. I had the hype. You know, I was excited for the season. I wanted to beat up on them Eagles and Redskins, and what a letdown! What a letdown! And that high school play calling. I don't know what the hell's going on with this offense.
Well, it's Kellen Moore's the problem with this offense, and what they need to do is if I'm McCarthy, enough's enough. And I know that's Jerry's boy, that's his boy wonder. That same thing, you know, it's the same crap we had to deal with Jason Garrett. He's done nothing as a coordinator. He has every game you watch. There's no flow. There's no flow to the game. Then there's no adjustments. Panic and they quit running the ball every single time. And I'm just, you know, I'm done with him. And I was at the game. I don't know if you were at the game or you had to sit there and watch it on TV. I had to sit through that. I had to sit through it at the stadium.
No,
and I
I
had
was
to
at
walk
the
all the
game.
way. You were at the game too?
I was at the game. It's just the offense was so predictable. I mean, we were in the stands. We were up in the 300s, but we didn't have the good seats like you.
Of course.
But we were calling plays before even said hike. We already knew the play. It was always a quick out.
Yeah.
Just a quick out. Boom.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. It was just predictable. The defense was all over them. They didn't take any chances. It was just pathetic.
And
it made me sick.
No, it made me sick. What are you talking about? And we talked about Cooper, and I said, hey man, I hate to, I hated to lose him, but I understood it, the production and the money and this, but they didn't go out and get any veteran, somebody, so you're throwing Noah Brown out there. No disrespect to Noah Brown, but I mean, he's been on this team for a while. He's always been at the blocking wide receiver. You need to go, if you're running plays, you bring him in to block. So, I mean, you're making him your number 2 receiver. You drafted Tolbert in the 3rd round, and I like Tolbert. And, I'm hoping that, he turns, he turns that corner, but he's inactive. So you got your guy that, your young rookie guy that you drafted, and he wasn't even active in the game. He got beat out by an undrafted free agent in Houston. And then Simi, who was like a 5th or 6th round last year, beat him out. So they've got some issues. They've got some major issues at receiver, and they need to do something. And I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
my man Jose, but Jose just commented about Cooper had 17 yards. He did, but he also got a key pass interference too that helped them get a field goal. I'm not, like I said, I didn't say to have Cooper, but we needed to get someone, Landry, Jones, Julio Jones, somebody. So, but anyway, I appreciate.
Well,
Yeah.
the one positive though, our defense played lights out. I mean, I haven't seen our defense play like that in years.
No,
it was amazing to watch. And I think once Dak gets back and hopefully we get Gallup back, I think then we'll start to see maybe this offense click a little bit. Hopefully we can go 500 within that time to maybe make a run.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the show, and I'll sit back and listen.
All right, man. Take care.
Take it easy, bro. I tell you, Parsons was all over the place. He impressed me. He was the catalyst. He was going wild, He was all hype. What'd you think about his Twitter comment after the game?
The cheap shot?
The cheap
shot. And I, Pro Football Focus, we all know what they all do. It's just like they they're looking for reaction. He was engaged with a guy. Fournette came up and blindsided him and hit him. And all right, hey, it's legal. Great. That's what you do. But you're touting it like he pancaked him and flattened him. They didn't go head up. No. Show the clips when they went head up and see what happens. But that's what they do. That's what they do. So, but, to Jose with James Washington, that hurt. But he's not a number 2. He was going to be the 3 or 4. That's what he is. He's not, obviously Gallup is our number 2. He needs to get healthy, but they've got to do something in the receiving corps. So hopefully we'll get this thing rolling. I think we might have another caller.
Can I touch base real quick on Dan Lowe's comment about Kyle Pitts? You're right, bro. There was very few targets at Kyle Pitts. We underutilized him yesterday. Drake London had a lot of targets. Bird and Zacchaeus did, but I was stunned that Pitts was uninvolved, especially down in the red zone twice when we only got 3 points on 2 red zone visits. So I agree with you, Dan.
No, I got you. All right, turn down your radio. Who we got on? Will?
Yeah, what's up, Mikey T?
What's up, my man? What's up? So, how you feel? You're a Cowboys fan. What's your feelings waking up today?
I felt like we got kicked in the nuts for sure.
Well, I was looking. You know what I wanted to do though, for real. I was trying to find. You ever see that video where it's like I think it's like there's the karate guys. They're all getting kicked in the nuts, and it keeps going around. That's the way I felt that whole game. So. So how do you fix it? Sure. What are you going to do? Why are you fixing it?
Like we talked about yesterday, you can't keep Cooper Rush in there as our quarterback.
No,
you can't. I agree with the last caller. The defense played great, but if your offense is not giving them any breaks, of course it's going to break down in the second half.
Yeah. No, so what do you do? So do you get? I think they give Greer a shot. I think he's got more of a ceiling than Cooper Rush. I would rather take the chances because this isn't a 1-game injury. You need him for 8 games, 7-8 games. So I think.
Oh yeah,
Will Greer has more upside. Or are you going to try and go outside?
I would try both. You got to give. It's going to be a battle this week, and who's going to be the starting quarterback on Sunday? Because it's a toss up right now. Nobody knows. Jerry definitely doesn't know. He's panicking. Definitely got to figure that out. And like y'all were talking about earlier, we got to have some more veteran wide receivers out there. When you have Noah Brown and Houston, who's a rookie, and then Washington's out. Washington's back in what?
He was
October?
Yeah, he was 10 weeks when he got hurt, so he missed all preseason. He's probably a few more weeks out. I see 3 weeks. I don't know if Jose's saying for him 3 more weeks, but I know it's out till I think October at least.
No, yeah, the defense is amazing. On a silver lining, Dak or not Dak, Zeke's been almost pretty sweet.
Well, what are you going to do for these 8 games? The defense is playing better. You hold Tom Brady to 19 points. You got to think you're going to win the game. So it was just everything that happened on that offense, and I did the drive. So forget that getting hurt. I mean, there was problems. I mean, we all saw it. There was problems. The first drive, they got a field goal, 54 yards. It was a 6-play, 7-yard punt, 5-play, 6-yard punt, interception, 8-play, 18-yard punt, 7-play, 15-yard punt, 4-play, 2-yard punt, 14-play, 49 yards downs. And then the last two, Dak got hurt in the midst of that. They weren't doing anything on offense. That's a part that has me concerned. So now you're taking Dak out. Now what are we really going to do? You're lowering your quarterback. We've got major issues, and that's what I say is it's Kellen Moore is to me the problem because he just can't call plays.
For sure.
And they got to fix it.
Yeah, well, you guys yesterday was penalties and turnovers, man.
Yeah, he's from Boise. So
Yeah,
I mean, they like to run that. You know, that's they abandon. They don't even bother running the ball.
Yeah, which we need. I mean, you have Zeke and Pollard in the backfield. Run the ball.
Yeah.
Like you have power horses there.
Just don't have Pollard in on pass protection. That's what Zeke should be there.
No. Yeah, that's what Zeke. Yeah, I mean Pollard's going to get blown up. I mean, but you got to run the ball more and then like run, then open it up. But I mean, Dak wasn't. I don't know if it was just his thumb, but Dak wasn't hitting anything either.
No,
he couldn't. I mean, he cannot hit any wide receiver.
No, and
I mean, he was throwing into triple coverage.
He definitely was off. And Jose brought up a good point because I didn't see it. They didn't run much 12 personnel. They didn't have two tight ends out there. You know, we saw what Ferguson was doing in preseason. I'm at the game, so I don't get to see it. It's not as good as watching on TV. Sometimes you see the replays and see who's coming in and out, but I don't recall him at all. I know he didn't. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he didn't catch anything, but I don't even know if he was in on any plays. But no, I appreciate it, Will. We're going to jump off, but hey, just keep the hope. But we're in trouble. I mean, we all got to admit that we're in trouble.
I know it's the number 1 week overreaction.
Yeah.
But you got to be truthful and just be like, all right, we got problems and we got to fix them.
Yeah.
But no, love the show, Stagnation. Can't wait to see you at the game soon.
All right,
I'll definitely be at the Thanksgiving game. But yeah, keep it up, man.
All right, brother. Take care, man. I'll see you.
So let me ask you, because we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks, and quarterbacks, whether it's Dak or anybody else, who sat out all the preseason games, no timing, no rhythm. Could that have been an issue?
No, well, that's one of the things, it's armchair quarterback. And in hindsight, 2020, they say they have these controlled scrimmages and that's where they're getting that game action. But you don't know. But you take the flip side. If you play a guy, ACL goes, they're going to be absolutely destroying them. So, I think it might have something to do with it, but there was teams out there that didn't play any of their guys and they were successful, but there were some, the Packers, Rodgers and them didn't play and would they get 7 points and they, so it's you don't know. I think personally, my opinion of it is still unprepared. The offense looked unprepared, uninspired, and there was no flow, no rhythm. And to me, it starts with the coordinator. Ultimately, it continues to the coach, but then it stops at the owner. And the owner, again, I love Jerry as the owner, but he's in the media all the time. That's all he cares about, and it's just the culture that they create. And it's what I said before. The Cowboys got to figure out how to win in spite of them. And how do you block Jones is out of your mindset when they're there all the time and doing everything. So it's going to be they've got a tough road to climb, losing your starting quarterback first week of the season. You have an embarrassing performance. And the question was, if they lost, let's say he didn't get hurt because it was near the end of the game. Obviously the reaction, they're still going to be concerned, but they're like, all right, well, you saw the Rams didn't do well. The Packers didn't do well. There was a lot of teams that didn't do well the first week. The 49ers got beat by the Bears, so
at home
things that happen, right? So you just don't know what you're going to get. Then I think they would have gotten it. Yeah, you'd get overreaction, but they would have see what happened next week. And maybe Dak gets, they get back to normal, get some rhythm, and then they get going. So but when you lose your quarterback, it just sucks the whole life out of you. You wait so long for the season. And then within 3 hours, that's why I played that video, just kind of bring it home. How happy we all were. And if you would have saw the look on our faces within about 2 hours, it was like totally different.
So we have the Kellen Moore has to go. That seems to
Has
be a
to
recurring
go.
theme. Although I saw a lot of hate for Dak Prescott on Twitter last night. A lot
Yeah,
of hate.
a lot of hey, you know what? The fact there we go. I wanted to show
Eh,
some love
so
to
wait a
you.
minute. I don't know whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
Yeah, and Jerry looking embarrassed and
Thanks, Edward.
pissed. Yeah. I mean, he could play those games all the time. After the 49ers game, he was pissed off, and then he was pissed off on this one. I get it. But you got to see. I got to see something, and I'm not seeing anything from ownership or Stephen Jones. All they're on the radio, and I know they got to spin it. And hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to the game next week. So, and I'm going to watch all the games, and I'm going to the Bears game with Jimmy D, and I'm going to the Colts game. I had canceled my flights. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm ride or die. I got to, it is what it is. That's what I tell people. People want me to, stop being a fan and stop doing this. I can't. It runs too deep in me. I'm 46. I have that many years in with the Cowboys. It's not that easy to let go. I can't let go. So I've got to deal with it. Now I've told my son, hey, you got an option, right? Yeah, hey, you're young enough. You want to jump ship and go to another team? You're 18 now. When you're under 18, you're a Cowboys fan. You get the hell out of my house. But now you're 18. You're your own man. But yeah. So what do you do, Jimmy? I mean, you see, you deal with it with the Falcons. I mean, you had to deal with I don't want to keep bringing it up, but I mean, the Super Bowl where you were. I mean, I was jumping up and down for you, one, because you beat Brady, but I was happy for you to get that Super Bowl championship. And it just, in a blink of an eye, it gets sucked away.
But see, that gets into being a Falcons fan. So my one of my close relatives, he's a Patriots fan, and we go there for Thanksgiving. They're all Patriots fans. They live out in Rhode Island. And at halftime, he called me to concede at halftime in that game. But I said, man, let me tell you something. We are the Falcons, and you have Tom Brady. There's two, opposing histories there. So I was nervous at halftime of that game because I'm so used to our team collapsing like yesterday. But you know what? We're fans. It's like you said, you're 46, I'm 48. I'm not going to bandwagon jump. I live here in New York. I've been a Falcons fan since 1989. But during the playoffs last year, I see people rolling around with Bengals hats in the parking lot at the supermarket. Get out of here, man. They're bandwagon fans. Come on. It's ridiculous.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
No.
And again, I agree to you, Jose. It is. They're buddies. They were former teammates. And when Mike McCarthy got the job, they should have cleaned total house. Total house should have been clean. Jerry wouldn't do it. Maybe Dak had influence on it, whatever it was, but that's what happened. So it's just, how can they not see it? We all can see what the problem is. We all understand the common denominator, but they don't want to see it. They don't want to see it. One or the other. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure they don't want to see it. And I agree. Our defense, that's why I gave you those 4 games. There's 4 games you got to look at. It's the Giants, Washington, Lions, and Bears. Those are your 4 opportunities to try and win 3 or 4 of those games. You're probably going to concede at Philly, which absolutely rips my heart apart. To concede that's probably going to be a game that we're going to have a hard time winning with that little of offensive power, because the Eagles do it. They've got some offensive power, and then of course the Bengals, which the Bengals didn't look great. I mean, they didn't look great.
No.
You can always, you don't know what it is. The Texans tied the Colts. You don't know what you're going to get right from week to week. So you never know. And that's why I tell the fans is we got to let it all out. We got to get the anger down. We got to, but I always give you that 48-hour rule by Wednesday, Thursday. If you're a fan, you just got to start figuring it out. All right, well, maybe we can get this because it's too late, or you just jump ship and just give up. But I don't quit. And like I said, I got it to the end, so I have to figure this thing out.
Well, I mean, again, it gets back to, look at the Bills on Thursday night, or look at the Dolphins yesterday. I mean, is that indicative of how they're going to move forward this season? You don't know that.
Yeah.
What's next week going to look like? Who knows? So, but again, your issue is you got a hurt quarterback. That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. And CD didn't, he didn't step up. He didn't step up, and he owned it. I mean, he owned it. And, he's got to be a leader on that receiving core. He's got to definitely make something happen. And hopefully they got something up their sleeve. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I just don't see it in Cooper Rush. Like I said, I Will Greer, at least there's he gives me a little bit of a hope long term. So we'll see. Yeah, Devontae Smith had no catches, but that Brown is pretty damn good, man. He would look like he was a one man wrecking crew, and the Eagles are going to be able to put up points. I mean, they're going to score. Our defense, I think, will do a very good job with them. But again, we got to go point to point with them, toe to toe. Is the trainer? What was his name? God, why am
Mickey.
As Mickey said,
can't go toe to toe with this guy.
I don't know. And we can't go. So we're going to rely heavy on our defense, and our defense wore down. I mean, as great as our defense did, they held them to field goals. I mean, they made Fournette look like, Jerome Bettis back in the day. I mean, we all thought he was going to be fat and, and it's going to be it. But, they wear down, and you continue to put all that pressure on that defense. You just can't. You can't expect perfection every single time. So, and yeah, the Eagles lost Barnett. I did see that. So, I should laugh at them the way they laugh at us, but he's not as important as Dak. So
I sat here last week, and when you and Rock asked me what would happen in the game, I said Dallas is going to control the line of scrimmage and win 24-10. Hopefully I didn't jinx you, but you know what it was? You said the defense wore down. The problem was your offense didn't have enough sustained drives. I don't know what the time of possession was, but it had to be lopsided.
It was like it was more lopsided, but of course in the fourth quarter it closed the gap. I think at one point we had like 18 minutes, and then it closed the gap in the fourth quarter because they were just kind of they were ahead. They weren't trying to do drives, but no, it was. I think I'd said that they had like I don't know how many punts. Punter was very active. They had I think 5 of their drives were under 10 yards. They had their 2-minute offense before halftime. They ended up giving them the ball back with like almost just under 2 minutes left. So the offense was pathetic. And, Parsons got to put a straight. Yeah. I don't know what that is. I didn't see
right.
Must be one of his buddies, but I don't know. But, let's just change that because it was a bad day for Jimmy. It was a bad day for me. And we're going to get into some of these other games, but I want to break it up. We talked a lot of Cowboys, a little bit of the Falcons, some of our disappointments, but we got to change it up because there was even some more disappointment. And if you took Jimmy's advice, if you took my advice, you're in trouble. If you took Uncle Cheech's advice, you're in a lot of trouble. He was 1-3, upset nothing, locked nothing. So we've got, this is what he's going to be working on. He's looking to rebound. So these are going to be his picks. I don't know what his lock is, upset, all that stuff, but we got to get old Uncle Cheech on here. Let me get your camera right because we need to make sure you're looking tight. There he is. So you got to be disappointed. 1-3,
guys.
Nice start.
How you
what
doing?
Happened?
I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed, especially with the Crimson Tide. They hear so much how good they are and this and that, and they go to somebody else's house and think the other team's just going to fold like a bad poker hand. Let me tell you something. Steve Sarkisian had his team ready to play.
No, he did.
And it would have been one of the biggest upsets in history of the NCAA. Biggest.
Well, I was in Texas when it happened, and they thought they had it. I mean, that place was going crazy.
Well, it was close. I mean, that's what I told you last week about bringing an unprepared team in. Unprepared. I guarantee you this week it'll be a different story. I'm not taking Alabama this week as one of my picks, but I guarantee it's going to be a different story. I think that was a wake-up call that you just can't walk in and think you're going to win.
Now,
we'll be ready.
Let me ask, because you said a wake-up call, so I know, you're in South Florida. I met you at the Miami game from the U. So now you got Texas A&M. They blew a game, right? They lost to Appalachian State. Now the Arcane's got to go down there. Are they going to be angry? Are they going to – I mean, is this more of a bad thing that happened in Miami? Because I'm going to be there, so I want to check it out. But what's your – I know you didn't pick it, but what's your thoughts about that?
Well, I think Appalachian State, they always field a good team. I mean, as far back as I can remember, and I can go back to George Myra with the Miami Hurricane. George Myra. You probably don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is.
Must be some old man.
But anyhow, I think it's going to boost Miami because they know they're there for the taking. Now it's up to them to execute. The quarterback's got to play a lot better because that first half was a disaster on both sides of the ball, and second half they came alive. But they're going to have to play good for 2 halves to beat that team in their house. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Well, they better because I mean, I know it's a tough place to play, but Appalachian State did it. So let's hear your picks. What do you got? You got to redeem yourself. I want 4 winners.
Well,
I don't need no more than stuff.
First of all, before I start, an old friend of mine found out I was out of retirement back in the handicapping business, and he asked me to plug his little business.
Well, are we talking about we got our first sponsor on Tag Nation? We got our first sponsor. Who is it?
Absolutely. I wrote everything down so I don't forget. But everybody had the bad week, you know. I had a bad week. You had a bad week. You never know when you're going to run a little short. So we have Short Arm Joe's loan service. Short-term loans, no credit needed, only 3 points above the VIG. And you want to know what the best part is?
What's the
Do
best
you
part?
want to know what the
I
best
want to
part
know
is?
the best part.
The best part is you have up to 6 days to pay.
Oh, that's very, very generous.
Or else it gets turned over to Itchkey Wines Collection.
Itchkey?
Itchkey. Itchkey, not itchy. Itchkey.
Well, make sure you tell.
Okay,
so let's get these picks.
All right. First of all, I like what Tampa looked like. I know you guys played. You played defense, played good, but I didn't think Brady was going to hold up against you guys, but he did. I'm going to take the Bucs over the Saints. I'm going to give 2.5 points. I think the Bucs wins the game.
Wow, they have trouble with the Saints. So that's kind of you're going out on a limb. You must know something. You must know something.
I got to make up for these losses.
All right.
You know what happened? You didn't see the sunglasses on. No women by the pool today because I had no cash.
Well, that's.
Are you back in an undisclosed location?
All right, this used to be one of the biggest rivalries in college football. Oklahoma, Nebraska. Biggest rivalries. I'm going back. You know I'm a big college man. I'm going to go back 50 years. Now it seems Nebraska fired their coach. They're no more than, what do you call it, a homecoming opponent.
A homecoming opponent they've become.
Who the hell was the coach? What's his name?
Frost.
He was undefeated at
UCF. Yep.
He goes to Nebraska, can't do nothing.
His alma mater.
You know what that tells me? There's no talent there.
Yeah.
No talent. Oklahoma, I'm giving 13.5, and I'll take Oklahoma in this game. They might keep it close for a quarter. Then they'll blow Nebraska out of the stadium.
All right, we're going to take that one to the bank, literally. What's the give me a lock of the week?
Well, I'm going to give you my upset first.
Oh, upset of the week. We're going to go there. All right.
Of the week. I like the way the Dolphins played yesterday. Ran the ball well, didn't turn the ball over, made some turnovers. I'm going to take the Fins +4 over the Ravens.
I saw it drop down to 3.5.
I know Lamar played really great yesterday. However, they were playing the lowly Jets.
No, it's true. I saw Vegas dropped it to 3.5. So does that change your mind at all or no?
No.
No? Okay.
I think the Dolphins probably going to win the game outright.
Win outright. All right. So what's that lock then?
My lock, I'm going to go back to the well.
Oh, boy.
Georgia Bulldogs over South Carolina. I'm going to give 23.5. Because let me tell you something. Georgia, the first 2 games, outscored their opponents 82-3.
Wow. 3?
3. And I think Georgia will crush them. Georgia is, without a doubt, without a doubt, the best college team in the country right now.
No, they look like they're head and shoulders.
That's it. They didn't lose a beat from last year. They destroyed the number 11 team. They won easily last week. They probably could have ran more up, maybe had a little mercy on them. I don't know. But I take that to the bank. They will win this game. They will cover. And I will be by the pool with the ladies next week with the champagne cocktails and crab legs.
We got your picks. We're going to keep tabs of you. I hope you're right. Until then, we'll see you next week.
All right. Take care, boys.
Love you, Uncle Cheech.
Oh man, I hope he's right. I lost a lot of money because of him.
Well, I don't want to find out what Itchy's late fees are.
No, I don't want any of that stuff. So, but no, hopefully he's got these picks down. Oh yeah, see, some people have been doing it.
Wait a minute,
in the business.
I need Clarence to meet me with that orange crop report.
Yes, absolutely. Midnight. He looks like he might be a little shyster too, but that's why we always, Jimmy, it's right. Entertainment purposes only. We're not going to, we don't, it's all entertainment. You guys do with the information as you will. If you think Uncle Cheech is a man of his word, knows his business, and you do what you got to do. So now let's talk. We'll talk. We'll break away from the Cowboys a little bit, unless some callers or anyone, if you text in a line, you want to talk about it. So let's talk about these other games, and we'll start with tonight.
Prediction.
So you got a little prediction. What do you think's going to happen? You got Russell Wilson heading back home for a reunion against Seattle. We saw how that worked out for Baker. Playing his old team. What's your thoughts on this game, and do you have any prediction?
Well, like I said, I'm not as high on Denver as everybody else is. Pardon the pun. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to make up for their lack of receiving core. And you guys can come at me all you want with how great of receivers they have, but I don't see it. But I don't know if Seattle's that good either. So, good question. I think Seattle wins at home tonight. Close game.
When you think Seattle wins at home, I no quarterback. Geno Smith's their quarterback. Yeah, they do have Metcalf. I mean, they got playmakers on the outside. Maybe they would get one of them to come to Dallas. I wouldn't mind Metcalf. But I think Denver is going to be too much. I think Russell Wilson. It pains me, but I think Russell Wilson is a missing piece for that team. I think obviously Surtain. I think they're secondary. I think they've got playmakers on defense. The receivers. I know you don't like them. I do like Sutton. Judy's been good.
No.
What was that?
When is the last time Sutton had 1,000 yards? Like 4 years ago, 3 or 4 seasons ago.
They haven't. Their problem is always they've never had quarterbacks.
He hasn't had over 700 yards since. He hasn't had over. He hasn't had over 700 yards since. And who else they got?
They have no quarterback. I'm saying you look at what Sidney Rice. I don't know if you remember Sidney Rice on the Vikings. He didn't do nothing. Brett Favre goes there. He turns into this Pro Bowl unbelievable receiver, and then when Brett Favre retires, you never heard of him again. So I think you need a receiver. He needs his quarterback. He's only as good as his quarterback throwing the ball. They've had nothing throwing him the ball. They had a wide receiver play quarterback one of the years because everyone had COVID during that COVID. I think that Denver's going to win easily. It's not even going to be close. Russell Wilson's going back home. It pains me to say it, but I just think it's I think it is. And Clarence Beeks said he was hurt last year, you dope.
Hey, Clarence Beeks, why don't you pick up the phone and give us a call and we can have a talk?
You don't say you don't see because you've never seen good receivers.
Yeah, okay. Is this some shill for Denver?
I don't know. Then you got game time.
Shut up, stupid.
With me, Denver wins. Come on, Jimmy Edward. Sutton's a Pro Bowl receiver. We're going down all the things. I want to get these comments in. And then we got, hey, tag will be not throw in the cards. I don't know. Maybe I missed that. I'm not throwing in the cards. I'm DC for life. You know that. I gave you the optimistic thing is what we need to do is we need to try and hold steady the best we can. I don't think Cooper Rush is a long-term answer. That's my concern of being an 8-week injury. I think I think they're going to need someone else. Cooper Rush doesn't look like he can sling that. Will Greer can sling it. I think you might have more upside with him long term than you would with Cooper Rush. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So the Packers got smacked around, Jimmy. What was you get any thoughts of that? Did you catch any of those games? Any of the early?
23-7, man. That was a shocker. But again, was it lack of preparedness? That
well, here's the Packers. Talk a little bit about the Cowboys. Is the Packers? They lost Devontae Adams. Was it Lazard? I can't. Maybe I'm saying his name right. I always get him messed up. He went to the Chiefs, I think. So they had all these new receivers, and they struggled offensively. I mean, he had I think one of their guys dropped a beautiful pass and it dropped that which would have been a touchdown. So I think Packers have some of the ailments that the Cowboys are facing on offense with just a receiving core that's a little questionable. So that was a surprise. Justin Jefferson, my son did my other draft I had to do, and he drafted Justin Jefferson with the 4th pick. He got a lot of hate for it, but so far so good with that one because he was unbelievable. And then obviously, Kirk Cousins, he had a big game against them. So, and then you look at the flip side. Talk about the Chiefs and the Cards. Mahomes puts up 5 TDs. He's lost Tyreek Hill.
Right.
He loses some of his receivers. They get some guys in there, and they don't skip a beat. Now, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, so that goes without saying. But they look pretty fine without Tyreek Hill.
But, it gets back to what we were saying before. Is it the receivers that make the quarterback or the quarterback that makes the receivers? It's all individual. It's not a blanket statement.
Thank you. Yeah, no. Well, it goes hand in hand. Now, they drafted some good receivers, but I didn't watch the game. But my man Game Time said Cardinals looked horrendous. They're an interesting team. Because it's, when I don't watch them much, but I watch like Kyle Murray. And, whenever he plays Dallas, for some reason, he's never lost in the state of Texas at any level, high school, college, and pro. And he just destroys us for some reason. I don't know why.
Well,
he's got our number.
But let's get back to, we were talking about Matty Ice before, the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, 30-30, and I love Matty Ice. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
I want him to win. But 23 of 50, I think it was, and no touchdown passes. I think he ran for one and fumbled 3 times. Not a good game, not a good start.
No, and I think that being a tie, I agree. The ties stink. I don't know why they do it. I hate it. And Texans conceded the tie, and I understand why. I mean, where they were on the field and whatever. I mean, it's an inter division game.
Yeah,
you don't want it. That loss really counts as 2. So you'd much rather have the tie and then see if you can get, if you can get back in there. So that was one of the surprises. I mean, Washington and Jags. I mean, that was probably a coin flip. Pittsburgh beating the Bengals in OT. That was a crazy ending. That kicker, right? He was automatic all the time, and he misses the extra point. Did it get blocked or he missed it?
Not so automatic on that one.
No. And then Pittsburgh's one of those. Now, there's an organization that you talk about. They have consistency. Don't really see the owners much around. They parallel the Cowboys in era in the 70s, 80s, all that kind of stuff. But they're consistent, and they don't have all the drama, the noise. They're about football, and they're always competitive. Even, I mean, they got Trubisky is the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he wins his first game. So that was interesting. The Bears game I didn't watch. The Bears and Niners. I don't know if you saw any of that. I know it looked like it rained a lot. It was an earlier game, so I missed that one. But it looked like it rained a lot. And maybe they missed Jimmy G. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, to lose at home like that, and all the hype with Trey Lance. I don't get it.
No.
Yeah. No. So
I don't want to see the Bears winning because maybe they're looking pretty good, and I gotta go down and see that. That's the last thing I want to do is go there and lose to the Bears with some people with us, because then I really have to hear it, and I don't really want to. So, those are that was kind of around the league. College football. Obviously, we let Uncle Cheech kind of do that. He loved college. There was some big games, a lot of upsets. The Sun Belt Marshall taking down Notre Dame. Obviously at Appalachian State, you had Georgia Southern beat Nebraska, get the coach fired. That was a lot of upsets, and now you're going into the next week, and like I said, I'll be down in at College Station, hopefully checking out the game and hopefully a Miami victory. I saw one comment talking about, yeah, I saw Mason Rudolph. I saw someone on ESPN or one of those talking heads was talking about trying to get Mason Rudolph. And, maybe you can, but see, the only thing I have, and I don't know, Jimmy, your opinion on it, is if you got this injury and you're getting a quarterback, obviously Dak's your franchise guy. So how long does it take the quarterback to get acclimated into the system in this net? So let's say it's a couple weeks, so you missed 2 games. Now you're down 4 to 6 games. Are you really gonna? Then you're getting with are you really gonna get it? Or are you better off just trying to get one of the 2 guys that you have in house and see if you can patchwork this thing till your quarterback comes back?
If it was a season ender, that's when you look outside. But 6, 7, 8 weeks, you stay inside. Somebody already knows the offense. They already know, Kellen Moore's BS that he's going to be dealing with. So why would you go outside? It doesn't make any sense. I wanted to break. It was one other, the Chargers and the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
Picks up right where he left off last year.
No, yeah, no, we beat them, but that division's going to be it's going to be pretty interesting. That AFC West. You wonder if they just beat each other up too much. That the record may not be as good. They may not. Only the 1 seed gets the bye, so maybe they're going to have some issue. It's sometimes it hurts to be in that competitive a division. It could help you because it can make you battle tested for the playoffs, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, the Chargers did look really good, man. And again, young quarterback, and he was perfect. I think his quarterback rating was like 125 or something crazy.
Yeah, he's a good young quarterback.
Yeah,
and that's where you're getting these points with some of these teams, and we talk about the Lamar Jackson contract. So he turned down $130 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
He wants it fully guaranteed because that's obviously what Watson got with Cleveland, which later on, Kyle Murray got, I think, $100 million guaranteed or something like that.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson signed a contract so for $100 million guaranteed. So Lamar Jackson, I think, was above both of them.
Yes.
I don't know what he's thinking. I just, I don't know a team that's going to give a quarterback who's, his asset is in his legs. He struggles with accuracy. What team is going to give him all that money? I just don't see it.
Well, and that's the problem with somebody who relies on their legs. I hope it doesn't happen, knock on wood. He gets hurt this year, he's screwed. Yeah. Final year of contract. So I think he was foolish not to take the money. And again, we've said it before, these players, they have a short career span for the most part. There's not a lot of Tom Brady's out there playing for 23 years. Yeah. But I'm taking the money and running.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's a lot of money. And what he's going to do is Baltimore, like I said, it'll be in Baltimore. Baltimore can franchise him. They can franchise him next year, and there's nothing he can do. They can franchise him the following year, almost kind of like what Washington did with Cousins those years, and you get that guaranteed money each year. But I mean, he could play that hand and then ride it out, and if he's still healthy, then go ahead and when they're done franchising, collect a big check somewhere else. But I don't know how that'll work out. I mean, you've seen it with some of these quarterbacks that were great runners. I mean, you look at Josh Allen, he runs,
yeah,
but he's pretty accurate. I mean, he can throw the ball pretty well too. And Kyle Murray, he runs, but I mean, he could throw the ball pretty well too. So I think he's got a little bit more in his game. He needs his legs, but he doesn't need to rely on them so much. And I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't see a lot of Ravens games, but everything I've read and the stats and the times I've seen him, it just seems like there's some accuracy issues, and I think that's something that probably has Baltimore a little concerned. Plus, his body taking a pounding.
Yes.
These guys get bigger and faster, that it can end up being a problem. So, so then that's what happens. So.
And that was the interesting thing, with the Falcons yesterday. is seeing for the first time since 2006, last time when Vic played for us, is having, a wide open offense, spreading the field. We were flawless for on offense for almost 3 quarters. And then toward the end of the third quarter, blew, just some horrible play calling. Somebody mentioned before, why didn't he hit Pitts? Pitts was invisible yesterday, and deep in the end zone. That's his niche. That's where he was catching his balls last year. They needed to get him more
He's a big
involved.
weapon.
Yeah, he's a big weapon. So, instead, Mariota runs one and fumbles on the 5. If we at least get a field goal there, that locks the game, because it's a 3-possession game. But
Yeah.
again, you're going to live and die by the run, right? If you got a quarterback who's a runner.
No, I mean that's it. Now, I mean, Mariota's another one. He relies on the leg, gets hurt a lot. You run into those issues. So it'll be interesting to see. It's the first week of the season. It's always a lot of overreaction. I think some of the reaction with the Cowboys, unfortunately, is accurate because of the injury situation at quarterback. We never want to see a quarterback go down. I sure the hell didn't want to see him go down, but you got to think that the Packers, they got blown out last year, if you remember, and then they just won on this roll. So I would say to all you, the fans outside of Cowboys Nation, because I think, we're probably going to be a little bit different, is don't get too crazy. Let the quarter of the season kind of play itself out. Because, like, to your point, Jimmy, you mentioned some of these guys didn't have preseason. Some of it affects, some of it doesn't. You just don't know. And after 4 weeks, you're going to start to kind of figure out who's what, who's where, and and then go from there.
Yeah, but you know what, man? Don't bandwagon jump. Don't be that guy. I don't mean you. I mean people.
Yeah, no, I'm saying for fans. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Yeah. No, you got to stay true. And yeah. And maybe we end up having a bad year, and you get the way the Joneses are, everything is, and I do love building through the draft, but if they're not going to sign free agents, you got to build through the draft. So draft capital is very important. That's why I don't want to see him giving up draft picks for a patchwork quarterback. I mean, you got your guys that have been in your system all off season. And for some, Will Greer's been a year and a half. Cooper Rush has been here, I don't know how many years. So you can, if you can't win with the guys you have, then that's your own fault as being a general manager. You don't have a quarterback in there that's capable of run the system for a little while, but you got to go outside, and then you got to pay king's ransom or whatever for someone outside. So it'll be interesting. But again, to the point, just got to get in the playoffs. You just got to get in the playoffs. So they got to figure out, McCarthy, these guys got to figure out how they can steal some games with a backup quarterback. And he's done it in Green Bay. We were a victim of it when he was in Green Bay, made Matt Flynn a $35 million man after he torched us for 400 and something yards. So I've seen it happen, and he's done it. We just got to support it. It's going to be frustrating. Let it all out. Let the Joneses have it. But it ain't the players, man. So many times I see these fans turn on these players. These players are busting their ass for our team, and they're doing everything that they can. I saw people throwing stuff at Dak, and it's like, come on, man, got to be better than that.
No, you don't do that. And yesterday was a killer for me. Not only did we choke the fourth quarter, I was hoping that you guys would take care of some business for us.
I know.
Take care of all family business.
Yep.
And I didn't see that coming, man. I was shocked.
Yeah.
And Brady, so you didn't watch it on TV, but there was times that to me, he looked almost disinterested. Like he didn't even care to be there. That was the expression I saw multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe he's got some feelings of guilt.
It didn't, they've got their own issues. I mean, and that's why, Uncle Cheech has got them down. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go against Uncle Cheech, but the Saints have had their number in New Orleans. It's a home game for New Orleans. They've had their number. And that's, forget Breeze. I mean, Winston lit them up early last season, pretty bad. So, and the Saints defense, and they still got that coordinator. They just knew how to play him. So it's going to be interesting. But I agree, our defense can keep us in these games. And you look at that schedule. You got to take it one game at a time. We don't want to look too far ahead. I know we kind of checked the box a little bit, but they got to figure out. They got to win one game. Figure out how to beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati has offensive line issues. Burrow turned the ball over 3 times, got sacked a bunch. So they've got to figure out a plan to stop him, and we've got to figure out a way to score some points. So, but anyway, I could talk for hours about the Cowboys and the upset, and all that, but we got to move on. Jimmy, what else you got, man? We're almost up against the clock. It's getting to be that time for Monday Night Football.
We are your lead into Monday Night Football. You tune to us every week. You tune into Tag Nation. You got to subscribe, like, call us. We want you to call. I see people, ripping us up on the comments. Call in.
Pick up the phone and you call us next time. We got a few callers, but we'd love more because that's what makes it interactive. That's what I want.
Fun.
You guys see me at tailgates. You're going to see Jimmy at tailgate. Man's wilder than me when you see him. We love interacting, man. I love interacting and talking with the fans. You don't have to always agree. I got in Twitter battles with guys that, we disagree and we can agree to disagree on stuff. I'm not no expert. I'm just a fan like you guys. I'm a passionate fan just like you guys are. So, hey, maybe we can learn something from each other. You bring up a good point, and it'll make me say, hey, maybe there's something going on. But if you're watching right now, make sure you hit that like button. The like button is almost more important than hitting subscribe. But we want you to subscribe because we do have a badass Micah Parsons, and you've seen what he's done. And we do have a badass Micah Parsons piece that we're still trying to have a live raffle for. And as soon as we get to that 1,000 subscriber, we're getting closer and closer by the week. We're going to have a live raffle. If you're on, it's going to be during live. You got to be present to win. So the odds are going to be good. So you got an opportunity to win that. I'll ship it out to your man cave, make it up look nice. You send me a picture, we'll put it on there. But, again, I just wanted to, Jimmy, before I forget, I got sidetracked. This is not that. Where's my pictures? This is what it's all about. This is hanging out with Cowboys Nation, having a good time. Of course, we left disappointed, but, these are all people that I met through just hanging out, through the show, through doing the videos. And this is what it's all about, having a good time. I want the team to win. No one wants us to win more than that, but I love the Cowboys Nation. I love the fans, and that's what's been great to me. So, again, we want to keep this thing going. Jimmy D's going to be in the house at the Bears game, so I expect to see you guys out there, and make sure you hunt us down because we're going to have some drinks. We're going to have a good time. Hopefully they're moving the game a little later so we can really partake in some beverages, but we'll see what happens. But, again, make sure you guys subscribe. I ain't too proud to beg. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, and, enjoy Monday Night Football, and we'll see you guys next week. Jimmy, what else you got to say to take us off?
That's it. Will, thanks for the props. We appreciate it. Thanks for everybody joining in. Hey, we'll see you next Monday. Tune in. We're your lead into Monday Night Football. Have a great day.
All right. I'm not going to do a hype video. I'm just going to leave some love for Tag Nation. So we'll just leave you with this video. You guys have a great one. We'll see you next week. Take care. Peace out. Hopefully we get that win next week. We got to figure out a way to do it.
Yo, this is Neville Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it?